So, Francois, I am outside of the Supreme Court, where inside behind me, the justices are hearing the arguments from Donald Trump's lawyers and also lawyers for the state of Colorado. The Supreme Court finding itself dragged into national politics, arguably since for the biggest moment since the 2000 election between Al Gore and George Bush. Now, they're basically hearing here about the 14th Amendment, and it's a specific section of the amendment, Section 3, that says that any person who has taken an oath of office and afterwards engaged in insurrection against the Constitution shall no longer hold office. Now, Donald Trump's legal team is arguing a very narrow difference of the wording of that section. It's a difference between office under the United States and officer of the United States. Colorado arguing that the phrases are effectively both sides of the same coin. Now, Trump is also arguing that the amendment says that it bars the insurrectionists from holding office but not running for office. And of course, it is the primary ballots that Donald Trump has been struck off of as it stands at the moment. Now, it took almost an hour for the questioning of Donald Trump's lawyer for the first justice to ask him whether he believed Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. And that was actually the last question that he got asked as well. And that was important because both courts in Colorado, the lower level court and the Colorado Supreme Court, both agreed that Donald Trump had engaged in insurrection. So that was arguably quite a telling moment. The counsel replying to that, that January 6th was a riot. It was not an insurrection. He said the events were shameful, criminal, violent, all of those things, but it does not qualify as insurrection as that term is used in Section 3. So arguably semantics being debated here at the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah, semantics at this time, and the U.S. president who's due to speak.
Yes, we're expecting to hear from Donald Trump. He is currently in West Palm Beach, his resort Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Now, whether he is taking a victory lap or otherwise remains to be seen. Of course, that all depends on what happens and what the justices here decide. Now, that decision isn't expected potentially for a couple of weeks. Now, there is a pressing issue, however, because once March gets underway, then that's when the primaries and the caucuses, the remaining ones throughout the United States, really begin in earnest. So it is in the national interest, as it were, for this to be decided quickly. And there are a couple of different ways that this could go. One, they could decide to uphold the Colorado Supreme Court's decision and therefore stave Donald Trump from the ballot in Colorado. And that would have many different impacts around the country, because various other states are also holding off to see whether they should hold Donald Trump off of their ballots, places including Illinois, as well as Minnesota and places like Oregon as well. So that could be a very meaningful and historic making decision. They could also side with Donald Trump and say that this is unconstitutional, and most people here seem to think that the Supreme Court will side with Donald Trump. But the third option is potentially the one which is causing most legal analysts here in the United States sleepless nights. The Supreme Court could effectively decide not to rule whatsoever and put it in the hands of Congress. And that would mean that should Donald Trump win the election in November, it would then be down to Congress on the 6th of January, when they are certifying the Electoral College votes, to decide whether he should become president. And that would require a 2/3 majority vote in both houses of Congress. So that would be an even more dramatic and history-making thing were that to happen as well.
U.S.